There is something very quiet and yet very powerful about the way a royal family lives. From the outside, it can look like a life of comfort, ceremony, and tradition. But behind the palace walls, there is another story. A story shaped by careful planning, hidden systems, and unusual rules that most people never see. Imagine a world where your daily walk is planned in advance, where even a simple handshake follows a hidden pattern, and where strangers are always being watched before they ever come close. It may sound surprising, but many of these small details are part of how the royal family stays safe. In fact, some of these protective methods are so unusual that they almost feel strange. For example, did you know that certain members of the royal family are never allowed to travel together? Or that their food is often tested before they eat it? Even something as simple as a public appearance is guided by quiet signals and trained eyes. These are not just habits, they are part of a long history of protection, shaped by real events and real dangers. Over time, these methods have become more refined, more subtle, and sometimes more unexpected. If you enjoy learning about these hidden sides of royal life, you may consider subscribing to this channel. Many viewers find comfort in these calm and thoughtful stories. And if you have ever visited a royal site or seen a procession, feel free to share your memories in the comments. Your experiences add warmth to this conversation. As we move forward, you may begin to notice something. Protection is not always loud or visible. Sometimes it is quiet, almost invisible. And that is where our story begins. One of the more unusual traditions involves travel. According to reports, senior members of the royal family often avoid flying together. This is not because of disagreement, but because of safety. If something were to happen, it would not affect the line of succession all at once. It is a simple idea, yet it carries a deep sense of responsibility. But how often do we think about such risks in everyday life? For most people, travel is routine. For the royal family, it is carefully considered. Then there is the matter of names. In public, you may hear formal titles, but in private or during security operations, different names are sometimes used. These code names help protect identity and movement. It is a quiet layer of safety that most people would never notice. It makes you wonder, how would it feel to live with more than one identity, even in small ways? Security officers also follow a method that may seem almost invisible. They watch hands, not faces. Hands can reveal intent much faster. A sudden movement, a hidden object, or a quick gesture can all be seen in a moment. This focus allows them to react quickly, often before anyone else realizes there is a concern. At first, this may sound simple, but it shows how deeply trained these professionals are. Their attention is constant, yet calm. Food safety is another area where care is taken. According to some royal historians, meals prepared for senior royals are handled with strict oversight. In certain situations, dishes may be sampled before being served. This practice has roots in history, where food tampering was a real threat. Today, the risk may be lower, but the habit remains. It is a reminder of how the past continues to shape the present. And what about public events? When you see a royal figure greeting a crowd, it may look spontaneous. But in truth, every step is planned. Routes are studied, exits are known, and security teams are placed in specific positions. Even the timing of a wave or a pause can be influenced by safety needs. Have you ever watched such an event closely? There is a quiet rhythm to it, almost like a carefully guided dance. If you find these small details interesting, you might like to share your thoughts below. Many viewers enjoy discussing these quiet traditions, and your voice is always welcome here. Another surprising detail involves clothing. At times, bright colors are chosen not just for style, but for visibility. This allows security teams to easily track the royal figure in a large crowd. It also helps the public feel connected, as they can see clearly from a distance. What seems like fashion can also serve a purpose. Communication during events is also more complex than it appears. Security teams often use subtle signals, small gestures, or quiet words that pass unnoticed. A simple touch or a brief glance can carry meaning. These signals help guide movement without causing alarm. It is almost like a language that only a few understand. Even vehicles are part of this careful system. Royal cars are often designed with added protection. Some reports suggest reinforced doors, special glass, and controlled communication systems inside. From the outside, they may look elegant and traditional, but inside they are built with safety in mind. And still, the experience for those inside must feel very different from an ordinary journey. There is also the matter of distance. Security teams often maintain a careful balance between closeness and space. They must stay near enough to act quickly, but not so close that they interrupt natural interaction. This balance takes years of training and experience. It raises an interesting thought. How do you protect someone while still allowing them to connect with others? As we continue, the methods become even more thoughtful and sometimes more unexpected. Some are shaped by history, others by modern challenges. Each one tells a small part of a larger story, and there is much more to discover. As we continue, the deeper layers of royal protection begin to reveal themselves in ways that feel both careful and quietly surprising. Some of these methods are shaped not just by danger, but by long memory. Events from the past still guide decisions made today. One such detail involves the way crowds are observed before any royal arrival. According to reports from former protection officers, people in the crowd are often watched long before the royal figure appears. Faces are noted, movements are studied, and anything unusual is quietly flagged. By the time the royal car arrives, much of the environment has already been carefully assessed. It makes you pause and think. When we stand in a crowd, we feel anonymous. But in these moments, someone may already be watching closely. Another quiet layer of safety involves the use of decoy routes. While the public may see one clear path, alternative routes are often planned in advance. In some cases, the final route is chosen at the last moment. This reduces predictability and keeps potential risks uncertain. Imagine preparing for a journey without knowing the exact path until the very end. It is a different way of moving through the world. Even the timing of events can shift without notice. A delay of a few minutes or a slightly earlier arrival can make a significant difference. These small changes are rarely explained to the public, but they play an important role in maintaining safety. Have you ever noticed how some events seem to begin just a little later than expected? There may be more behind that than we realize. Then there is the role of plainclothes officers. Not all security is visible. Many officers blend into the crowd, dressed like ordinary attendees. They may appear to be guests, staff, or even tourists, yet their attention is sharp and their purpose is clear. This quiet presence creates a protective layer that is both close and discreet. It allows the royal family to interact more naturally while still being surrounded by trained professionals. Communication within these teams is also carefully designed. Earpieces are common, but they are often small and nearly invisible. Messages are brief and coded, allowing quick understanding without drawing attention. In some cases, even posture or movement can signal a change in plan. It is a system built on trust and precision. Security planning also extends to buildings. Before any visit, locations are inspected in detail. Entry points, exits, windows, and even nearby rooftops are examined. Teams may arrive hours or even days in advance. Their goal is to understand the space completely before the royal presence begins. This level of preparation may seem extensive, but it reflects a simple truth. Safety is often built long before the moment arrives. Interestingly, even gifts given to the royal family are handled with care. While many gifts are accepted with gratitude, they are often checked and recorded before reaching their final destination. This ensures that nothing unexpected is introduced. It adds a thoughtful layer to what might otherwise seem like a simple gesture. Another detail that many people do not consider is the role of medical readiness. During public appearances, trained medical staff are usually nearby. They remain out of sight, but ready to act if needed. In some cases, specific hospitals are alerted in advance of a visit. This preparation is not only for the royal family, but sometimes for the public as well. It reflects a broader sense of responsibility. You may find yourself wondering how it feels to live with such constant planning. Does it bring comfort, or does it create distance? Perhaps it is a balance of both. There is also a long-standing tradition involving personal protection officers, often known as PPOs. These individuals work very closely with senior royals. Over time, they become familiar faces, trusted companions in both public and private settings. According to royal biographers, this relationship can grow strong. It is built on respect, routine, and shared experience. Yet even within this closeness, professionalism remains at the center. Clothing, once again, plays a subtle role. Handbags, for example, have been used as quiet signals. A shift from one arm to another may indicate a desire to move on from a conversation. While this may seem like a small detail, it helps maintain flow and safety during public engagements. Such gestures are gentle yet meaningful. Lighting and visibility are also considered during evening events. Areas are arranged to ensure clear lines of sight. Shadows are reduced where possible, and movement can be easily observed. This careful arrangement helps security teams remain aware of their surroundings at all times.
We're moving towards the central area
Even in
now.
moments of
Keep eyes on the
celebration,
exit points.
awareness is never far away. Transportation, too, has its own quiet rules. Drivers are specially trained not only in skill, but in awareness. They know how to respond to sudden changes, how to adjust routes, and how to remain calm under pressure. In some cases, vehicles travel in groups, creating an additional layer of protection. From the outside, it may look like a simple journey, but behind the wheel, there is constant focus. If you are finding these details thoughtful, you might consider sharing this video with someone who enjoys history or royal life. These stories often open small windows into a world that feels both distant and familiar. As we move closer to the final part of our journey, the tone begins to shift. The last layers of protection are not just about safety in the moment, they are shaped by deeper events, and sometimes by moments of great loss. And those moments have left a lasting mark. As we enter the final part of our story, the atmosphere becomes more reflective. The systems of protection we have explored are not only shaped by routine, but also by moments in history that changed everything. Some of these moments were quiet warnings, others were deeply tragic. One of the most important turning points came in 1997 with the loss of Diana, Princess of Wales. Her passing in a car accident in Paris brought global attention to the balance between privacy, media, and safety. In the years that followed, many protective measures were reviewed and strengthened. It is not easy to separate protection from memory. Each decision now carries the weight of what has been learned before. In response to that time, and coordination between security teams and local authorities became more structured. When senior members of the royal family travel abroad, they often work closely with the host country's police and intelligence services. Plans are shared, responsibilities are defined, and communication channels are tested in advance. This level of cooperation reflects a shared goal. Safety is no longer a single effort, but a combined one. Another important layer involves digital security. In earlier times, protection focused mostly on physical space. Today, the digital world is just as important. Royal communications, schedules, and personal data are carefully protected. Cybersecurity teams monitor for risks that may not be visible to the public. It raises a quiet question. In a world that is always connected, where does true privacy begin or end? Even social media has changed the way protection is handled. Public posts can reveal locations, timing, or patterns. Because of this, many updates are shared after an event has already taken place. This small delay helps reduce risk while still allowing the public to feel included. It is a gentle adjustment to a modern challenge. There is also a growing awareness of emotional well-being. Constant protection can create a sense of distance. For younger members of the royal family, efforts are sometimes made to allow moments of normal life. Simple outings, private time with friends, or quiet family gatherings are carefully arranged. These moments may seem ordinary, but they require thoughtful planning. According to royal historians, even schools attended by royal children are chosen with care. Security is present, but often kept as discreet as possible. The goal is to provide a safe environment without removing the feeling of everyday life. It is a delicate balance between protection and freedom. Another detail that often goes unnoticed is the role of rehearsal. Before major public events, certain movements or sequences may be practiced in advance. This is not only for ceremony, but also for safety. Knowing where to stand, when to move, and how to respond can reduce confusion in real moments. Preparation brings a quiet sense of control. In times of national importance, such as large ceremonies or state events, security levels are increased even further. Additional personnel are brought in, and wider areas are monitored. Airspace may be restricted, and access points are carefully controlled. Yet despite all of this, the experience for the public often feels calm and welcoming. This contrast is perhaps one of the most remarkable aspects of royal protection. The more complex the system becomes, the more invisible it tries to be. You may begin to see a pattern. Protection is not only about reacting to danger, it is about shaping an environment where danger has little room to appear. And still, there is one final thought that brings everything together. Behind every rule, every quiet signal, and every careful plan, there are people. Individuals who have chosen a life of service, often without recognition. They stand in the background watching, waiting, and preparing. Their work is rarely noticed, but it is always present. In many ways, their role is built on trust. Trust that they will act when needed. Trust that they will remain calm under pressure. And trust that they will protect not just a person, but a symbol that holds meaning for many. If you have stayed with this story until now, you may have felt a shift in how you see royal life. It is not only about tradition or ceremony, it is also about responsibility, shaped by history and carried forward each day. Perhaps it also invites a more personal reflection. In our own lives, we create small systems of safety. We lock our doors, we check on loved ones, we plan for the unexpected. These actions may seem simple, but they come from the same place. A quiet wish to protect what matters most. And so, as this journey comes to a close, we are left with a deeper understanding. The royal family lives within a world that is both visible and hidden. A world where every step is supported by unseen care. It is not a life without risk, but it is a life surrounded by preparation, shaped by memory, and guided by a steady sense of duty. Thank you for spending this time here.